Hello, welcome back. So, I want to share with you a few different ways that you can actually uh, work with energy of a deck that may not be connecting with you fully. Now, when you connect with a deck, partially it's the deck itself, but it's also the individual who is working with the deck itself. So I recommend, if you're reading with a deck and it's not being um, fully clear for you, I suggest first to do some clearing for yourself. Okay, there could be some blockages that you may not be aware of. So just check in with yourself. That's the first thing. Check in with yourself and see how you're feeling. Because the deck that you've been working with, or decks that you work with on the more occasional time, and all of a sudden it doesn't work, check in with yourself and see. You may just need to reconnect with your energy and clear that aspect of it for yourself. Okay, so check in with yourself, whether it's meditation, breath work, doing activity. I think if there's any uncertainty or any muckiness that goes on with the individual before doing a reading, get that cleared out. And then readdress yourself with the deck and just see how you feel. And if you feel that you're really strong and you're really grounded and the deck still isn't speaking to you, this is one of the ways that you can take care of this, and it's very straightforward. And the reason why I'm doing this particular episode is there's quite a few posts on social media about how to work with decks, how to clear decks, and you can connect with them going through the four elements. The four elements can be pretty extreme with some people, where they work with the elements of air, fire, water, and earth. One of the things that I was reading as I was starting out with tarot, and it came to clearing out energy from a deck, was to actually put these decks through those elements. So for air, we would use smoke, like incense, clearing incense, sage, Palo Santo. I use dragon's blood, because dragon's blood, it is a protector, but it also releases negative energy in a very strong way. So I use that because that just, for me, takes care of everything. So dragon's blood, and then what I do is I reincorporate it with a clearing of negative energy using dragon's blood or any incense of that matter, sage, cedar, and then introduce it with a good vibration like frankincense, sandalwood, incense that puts more focus and grounding into the deck. Okay, so that's for air. Water, I've heard some people, I guess back in the day when the cards were probably a little bit more designed with vinyl and plastic coating, is they would run them through water. Okay, and then they dry it out in the sun. That would be the other aspect for that fiery energy, is exposing it to the sun. If you're going through the cleansing process of water, I don't recommend that, because now people are putting a lot of emphasis, creators are putting a lot of emphasis on the quality of their decks. So we're looking at higher end stocks for quite a few quite a few creators, inks. So don't physically put them through all these four elements. I'm just using it as the good old days, traditional days of working with those four elements. And then for earth, people will bury the deck for 30 days to go, either 28 or 30 days. 28 days go through the cycle, the moon, or 30 days to make it a full month of energy. They tend to wrap it up and then bury it. But if you do that, you got to remember where it's placed. And then you go back 30 days later, pick up the deck and charge it up again. So those are some of the extremes. But for me, very simple. I do use incense to clear. So as I mentioned, I use dragon's blood because for me, I feel it's more potent to clear any energy from people that you've done readings, whether it's good or bad. You want to just clear it and then recharge it. So when I recharge my decks, here's the dragon's blood. I'm not going to do it just for time's sake. So this is dragon's blood that I have here. Okay, so I burn that. This is the first thing I start out with, and then this is a personal mix I made, where there is frankincense and some other igniting, and I use the word igniting, forms of resins and incense to put life and to put energy into these decks after I've done negative clearing. So this is a special personal blend that I've created. I'm running low on it, but I use that. So find something to clear negative energy, and then with the incense, find something to draw in and put some vitality. Look for different kinds of incenses. Like I said, spiritual frankincense, sandalwood for grounding. Amber is a very good resin to work with because it's related to the sun. It has a very sweet smell. It's very engaging. Peppermint is another one. That's clarity for the mind. So that's I wouldn't recommend burning peppermint because it doesn't smell great. But if you have an oil, you could put it on your hands and maybe just go over the cards, or just maybe when you work with the deck, which I'm going to show the next step for clearing. Have the oil on your hands. Be careful with the card stock, okay? Make sure that works. You don't want to saturate your hands, but just put a little bit of oil. I'm going to do here because this deck I am going to clear for you. I'm not going to do the whole process, but I'm going to show you the first few steps. So you take some oil, you can see a little bit of it, and just rub it on your hands. Okay, this is ritual oil for consecration when you're doing any form of magic work, anything in the healing arts. So the oil's already in your hands. So the next step would be to reorganize the deck. Now some people say, oh, that doesn't do anything. It actually does. It actually helps you reconnect with the deck and each of the cards, because when you do readings of a particular deck, I want to say a majority of the readers are not using all 78 cards, but there are cards that you don't see for a while. And so this gives you the opportunity when you're reordering or reorganizing your deck to look at each and every card. And so I did this last night. I did about, 11, 12. I did about 2 hours of deck cleansing. So I cleared 3 decks. My beloved Barbara Walker. Again, these are decks I've been working with more recently. And so they've been in contact with people that I've been doing readings with. This is another one that I cleared as well, the Wild Unknown. And then this one here, this is Dolomina Tarot. This one I cleared. This one was nice to reconnect with as well, especially because the last person I read using this deck gifted me this stone, and I believe it could be Dalmatian stone. I am not too clear. So I'm holding this. I've consecrated this stone and cleared it. I'm keeping that stone with that deck. There's something very special with that stone and the deck. I really like its energy. So I'm jumping a little bit all over the place. So I did speak about air for the incense. So that's a two-step process. You want to make sure you have something a negative form of incense to clear any energy. For me, I use dragon's blood. And then you want to bring in this energy to put some vitality, to put grounding into it. I mentioned frankincense, sandalwood, amber. We're looking for incense resins that are uplifting, to give energy. Oils, like I mentioned, peppermint for clearing of the mind. So again, just if you're going to clear the decks the way that I'm going to be showing you, and you're going to work with oils, do not put the oils on the cards, just put some on your hand, okay, and just rub it. The oils are already in your hands, and you focus that energy that you have, that you want to put into each of these decks for guidance and clarity. And with that oil that's on your hands, that energy gets transferred into each of the cards. Okay, so I already started a little bit of the layout for how I'm clearing the Guild Tarot. Sorry, I had a little bit of a brain hiccup. So this deck, if people who've watched my channel know, it's a favorite of mine. I've been working with it, but I'm trying to infuse a different kind of energy with this deck. And so, since I already put this particular oil on my hands, for the Guild Tarot, this is going to work out very nicely. Fire energy can, for clearing, you can work with candles. And what I did with these other decks here is I just cleared them by putting them not through the candle flame, but just right around the candle flame. So, for instance, let me light this so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so here's our purple and silver, because right now, sidereally, we are in Moon in Pisces, entering Capricorn as of yesterday. So I'm going to move this here because I don't want to move the candle or move the camera. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to turn it this way so you can see. So when you have a full deck, especially if it's fresh after doing readings, okay, here's the deck. Okay, and please be very careful. Be mindful of how fire works. Okay, so then what I do is I fan. Okay, get a good grip on these cards here, or on your deck, and then I just go right over with the intention. I just go right over it. Okay, so that's your fire energy right there. There we go. Stay at least like probably 4 to 6 inches, because the heat does rise from the candles. You don't want to go any closer because you will feel the heat. Okay, so that's one way you can work with fire energy. Okay, or after you've reorganized your deck, you can lay them out, not directly outside in the sun, but make sure they get some sun exposure. That's another way to put the vitality back into a deck that you've just cleaned or cleansed. The moon is another way. The moon could be used for releasing. It is feminine energy. The sun is masculine. So you can do that as well. If you want to wait 28 days for the moon cycle, if it's a deck that you really want to put that energy in and clear and put in a different life force, and you can use the moon energy. That will represent water as well. Water, I wouldn't sprinkle water or anything like that, salt water. You know, don't physically put those 4 elements into contact with your decks. For earth, I'm sticking to incense. Look for patchouli, look for vetiver, look for incenses. I know it's air, but look for incense and maybe oils that have that earthy element, okay? If you want to go to the extreme and you're not concerned about the conditions of your deck, bury it if you want, but keep in mind the time of the year that we're in for winter. So for precipitation, people would not put it in a plastic bag back in the days. They really want the earth to soak and remove any negative energy that would come into those decks or to clear those decks. So stick to those elements that are a little bit more accessible and that won't do harm to your decks, okay? So work with the 4 elements, okay? And again, I'm working with the energy of incense for air, oils, which can represent water, the moon for like releasing and maybe drawing in more receptivity. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, right now, sidereally, our moon's in Pisces. We're going to be in some Piscean energy for a little bit, but we're also in Capricorn. So we have Pisces energy with Neptune, and we also have Capricorn with Saturn. So those 2 planetary influences right now are very strong, and they're also good to work for during this time if you want to start clearing some decks. Okay, also keep in mind that the moon only stays in its sign for about 2.5 days, and we're in the waxing stage. So we're slowly building up this energy of going to the full moon. So this is a good time to clear and to bring in that energy. Okay, so organizing a deck. That's what I do for cleansing my decks. And this I have not done in quite some time. So I got really charged up yesterday, and I went on a cleaning frenzy. So it kind of extended to the decks, but when I did my readings this weekend, I really felt that I had to start changing the energy around in my decks I have been working with. Okay, so with the Guild Tarot, the way I've done this is I have them in their suits. We have our wands, cups, sorry for the glare there, cups, swords, and coins. The Guild Tarot works with coins. And then I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but just to show you the example of how I organize the decks. Here to my left will be my major arcana. These will be all the minor arcanas. Here will be the court cards. I do separate the court cards from the minor arcana. And then here I also separate the aces. So I can sort of see the whole picture of the deck when it's broken up into its suits. And again, I highly recommend people doing this if you work with decks quite often. And again, it's important to do this because when you do readings, you're not seeing all of the deck. And so you'll probably get some repeat cards, so on and so forth. But this gives you a time and a place of stillness to look at the entire deck as you're organizing it, and you get a different perspective of it, which I did with the Barbara Walker and the Wild Unknown and the Lumina Tarot. All right, so you could put the deck in any order. You could do cups, pentacles, wands, swords, whatever order. This is the order that I did. Okay, and then what I do is I start flipping them over. Okay, so as you can see here, this is wands. Okay, so I put 2 through 10, the minor arcana. Remember, court cards are here and the aces are there. And the major arcana is going to be to my left. Okay, so I got Princess of Cups. Okay, swords here. and you start seeing, oh, I hope I don't get a 6 there. I got 668 there. You start seeing the cards when you put them in whatever order you want. That was close, 662. You start seeing how these suits look, you know, when you have them side by side. And also when you do this, take a look, this is our wands, take a look and see, as you're flipping the cards over, if you shuffled before you clear them, take a look and see how all these cards are coming together. Okay, just look at them. Got wands. Okay, so here's my Ace of Swords. So I want to get 2 more aces so that I can walk you through this. Here we got our cups. Coins. Okay, so in doing this, it's beautiful because I feel like I'm building a different relationship now with the deck, because I'm seeing these cards all laid out. I'm seeing their colors, I'm seeing the environment of each of the cards, I'm seeing their suits, I'm feeling their energy, the relationship with the court cards, how they look as I put all these cards out. And the aces. The aces are interesting because, oh, I actually forgot, I did the Wild Unknown as well. Or not the Wild Unknown, the Wildwood Tarot. I've been changing with the court cards. With some of the decks, I've been leaving it Queen and King, but there's been some decks, like with the Wild Unknown, where I've actually been putting the Queen at the end. And so visually, when looking at the entire deck, I find my connection to, especially the court cards, moving in a different direction. So don't fight it if you feel a draw to change the order. The other thing that I have too is, because I focus now with astrology, is the conundrum of 8 and 11, the Strength card and the Justice card. Now, I've had to switch those, even outside of the astrology aspect. Visually, when looking at the 8 and 11, I've had to change it around. I've actually kept the order of the Chariot, and then Strength instead of Justice. So it's the Chariot, Strength would be 8, 9 would be the Hermit, 10 would be the Wheel of the Year, and then 11 would be Justice. In some decks, it's reversed, okay? And that can work. But again, when looking through these different decks and seeing their energy, I'm letting them speak to me and tell me what order is best to be placed in. So, so it's fascinating. So I suggest, if you can do this, you know, if there are decks that you're working with, and if there's an energy that just isn't suiting you, do a cleanse. Start with you first, okay? Check in with yourself first, and then see how you are connecting with the deck. If there's still an issue, work and clear the deck, and see if a combination of your clearing, your personal clearing, and the deck's clearing, what happens? How do you now relate to the deck? Okay, so time-wise, to do this, like I said, I did 1, 2, 3. I did 4 decks. I did the Wildwood Tarot today, and then yesterday I did 3 decks. So give yourself probably about 30 minutes, 45 minutes to do this clearing process. And because this will give you time to slow down and you can look at these cards depending on what's going on with your connection, how you're feeling about the deck. It may be quick or it may take a little bit longer. So 30-45 minutes average to do this. And I will say don't, if you're using it, if there's one deck that you're using particularly on a regular basis, you may want to clear it a little more often. But if it's decks that you're just doing some readings with, keep going with it until you feel that you may need to do some changes. Okay, so if you do this process, or if you do any form of clearing, cleansing, cleaning, and reorganizing your decks, let me know. I think this is a wonderful exercise, especially the beginning of the year. We want to infuse some different energy into ourselves, and if we have a dedicated practice, how we approach, how we use the tools that we do. Okay, so let me know. I'm gonna end this video, but just to recap again, candles can represent fires. For some people, candles can also represent air. Look at the color candles that you have. This evening I'm working with purple and silver because of where we are right now with our moon in Pisces. And then oils and incense. Those are the safest tools that you can use when it comes to clearing and igniting, invigorating energy into your decks. Okay, so with the candles for fire, again, you can wave them over the flame. Okay, but make certain that you are like about 4 to 6 inches away. Okay, it's still doing its work. That's partly what the candle fire flame is doing, but the other half of it is your intention while you're doing this. Okay, and again, oils. If you're going to work with a ritual oil, just put a little bit on the palm of your hand. Rub it into your hands. Make sure there's no residue so it doesn't stain the cards, and put your intention into it while you're clearing and or reorganizing the deck. And look into those different kinds of incense: peppermint, dragon's blood, sandalwood, patchouli, because it's very grounding. All these different kinds of oils and incenses that are available to you. You can incorporate those into the clearing aspect of working with these decks that you have. Okay? Any questions that you have, please let me know. And this is actually very fun. I really like doing this. So it won't be a chore. You get this excitement again about seeing the deck as it is. So yes, let me know if you do decide to do a clearing. If you have any questions, reach out to me. And I just want to share this quick exercise with you so that you can take your approach with clearing a deck and know that it can be done very simply. All right. I will be seeing you all again very soon, but I want to share this quick exercise with all of you. Everyone have a wonderful week. I will be back soon. Bye-bye.